Good afternoon, students. This is the week 5 of at-home learning. I'm going to go over with you this week's topic, which is going to trail from last week's, which is the plant life cycle. This is going to be on inherited traits, and anything from the last video that was seen or shown from how you're successful with the lessons or how to read them, it's going to be a little bit copied in here just to kind of go over it again. And they're going to go over just a few of the questions that are to be turned in to this week for accountability for this section in science. So if you look at the top of this page where you see the number 3, you see a title that says inherited traits. Again, if you see anything as a highlighter or a dark word, let's go ahead and highlight it to show emphasis on what it is that we're talking about here. And so as you look through the reading, it's talking about inherited traits. Inherited means that you get it from your parents. This is something that you inherit, you're given by. And so since we're talking about plants, you're going to see and notice that the parent plant is going to give their offspring traits that are going to be inherited from the parent plant. If you look here, you have some vocabulary words. You see parent, offspring, and then again, before the word is bolded or after the word is bolded, you'll have some definition or some explanation behind those words as to what they want you to know for that term or terms. Now here, this is a bullet that's going to have some examples, and you have a model here of the parent plant, which is its final form. And then you have the offspring plant, which is kind of similar to its new form of the sprout or the infancy of that plant. And so here you see these bullets. You can see that these are all types of traits that are inherited. It could be the color, the shape, the color and size of the fruit in the plant. You've got the shape, color, and size of the seeds, the shape of the leaves, and the tendrils, the thorns, spines, and roots. And all of these items or these parts of the plants can be shown on last week's lesson, or if you want to look them up on the internet, if you're able to look through it through different types of plants and their structures. If you see this QR code, I believe on the link on the computer, you can just click on it, but if you have your phone or tablet, you have a QR reader, you can go through this link here and it's got some really good information. And then here you can see that there's some inherited traits for bluebonnets on this QR code here. So we'll skip to the next lesson. You have the extension here, which is looking at this tomato plant. So if you look at this plant, this is the tomato plant pictured. See the big vine, you see the fruit, you see the tomatoes all here, and you see the leaves. You want to list all the inherited traits of this plant. So if you need help for inherited traits, just look back on the previous page that we were on. It talks about the parts that would be inherited to have this plant look as it does. You can create a graphic organizer also here to present your information. And then you can look here, this talks about your open thinking. The organism that's not a plant, does it have inherited traits? So you just talk about it, what you know, and if it does or does not have traits that are inherited. So let's go over our rules section again. Remember, anytime before we do any question, we want to make sure we go through our rule strategy to complete our questions and our answers to mastery. So we want to make sure before we start, we're going to read and read again the question that's given. We want to make sure to underline 3 to 4 key words if necessary. Sometimes some questions don't even have that many words to be underlined, but we just want to make sure that max of 3 to 4 are underlined or shortened for clarification of what that word means. Label and draw anything that may help us see what we're looking for. And then eliminate wrong answers is the E of the rules. So we're going to cross out anything that may not help us get to our correct answer. And then it says here that the S is the selecting the best choice, which would be our correct answer shown. So here for number 1, it says, which of the following is an inherited trait of a plant? And so if we go back to the reading, we can go back and see that it told us on our bullet points that we highlighted So if I look here, it says inherited traits of a plant include, and so we can write down these here. So we can say color, shape, size, shape, color, size. So we have these key words that will be matching here now. So we want to do plant, inherited traits, and we have our 3 words that we would use. And so as you look at your answer choices, you can clearly see now which part or which of the following is an inherited trait of a plant. So if we look here, number, we didn't see number that we wrote or matched. So we could say that A is incorrect because it doesn't match the keyword that we're looking for an inherited trait of a plant. If we look here, you have a broken stem, and we look at the examples given. It doesn't say anything about anything broken or hurt or bent. So that could also be a incorrect answer. And so we're looking for now the keyword to be shape or missing. And so based on what we looked at here, we can match that the word shape is shown here, and missing was not an occurrence that we had. So D is incorrect, so our answer would be C. And so just by writing and looking at our highlighted points that we go back to from the reading, you can easily see that just by writing and looking at key terms will help you find your best answer. We're going to do another one here, and then we'll conclude with the lesson. It says a student made observations of a sunflower in the park and recorded them in their science journal notebook. So this notebook is this recording. Okay, so that's what he wrote in his science notebook. So the observations of the sunflower is he planted in loamy soil, which we went over in our soil lesson before we left for spring break. Ladybug on one of the leaves, yellow flowers, and the wind gently blew through the leaves. So what we could do here is we could kind of draw this observation here, and then we can kind of give a descriptor for each of the bullets. So if we said plant in loamy soil, we can just write soil. And again, you don't have to do so detailed. I just like to draw more detail to give a better look for what it is I'm doing. So you'll label it loam. And it says a sunflower, so if you're not familiar with what a sunflower looks like, it's just got a big circular center, and all of these here in the middle are actually the sunflower seeds like you eat at a baseball game or a snack at home maybe. And so you just have it looks like a sun. So you got these leaves that are yellow, and so it says a ladybug was on one of the leaves. So we can write a ladybug right here, so then we can label it ladybug. We're going to give it a stem. And we'll give it some leaves, and it says yellow flowers. So I have a highlighter, and you don't have to necessarily color it, like I said for the last lesson, but if you do have it, it just kind of matches with what they're saying the plant looks like. And then it says winds gently blowing. So you just give the impression that the wind's blowing. And you just put wind. And then of course you have sunflower up here. So here is our L for our rules section. So you have everything labeled that we have. We have the soil labeled. We have a ladybug on the leaf. Well, actually, ladybug would go here as well then, because I drew it on the plant. And so that would be the leaf. So ladybug here. I drew it on the petal by mistake. The flower's yellow. And the wind's blowing, so we have the wind blowing as well. So now the question's asking, which observation is a trait that the sunflower will pass on to its offspring? Okay, so we say trait that the sunflower will pass on to its offspring. So we have sunflower here, trait, and offspring. And if I look here, we're going to go through our answer choices, and we're going to look for the best answer. And so again, if we go back to what we wrote for our traits, color was important, shape was important, and the size was important. So it says here, planted in loamy soil. So it doesn't say anything of where it grows or where it's at. So you're going to go ahead and take out A, because that's not one of the best answers. So you're left with B, C, and D. It says a ladybug on one of the leaves. So it doesn't say here at all what's added to your final plant. So this is also an incorrect answer. So you're left with wind gently blowing the leaves, and then D, yellow flowers. Wind gently blowing is not a color, it's not a shape, and it's not a size, whereas yellow is a color. So this answer then here would be D. And you can do the rest of these questions, 3, 4, and 5, on the previous pages, and then looking at the other section of the writing frame, fill in those traits if you'd like with what you do on the spinner. Guys, if you need any more help or assistance on any of this section that may be unclear, or maybe need some more enrichment, you can go to your study guide in your science study guide. If you don't have it, I'll try to look for a link that may open it up in the section that we need. But the study guide pages for this section alone would be pages 100 through 113. And you can use these pages to get more guidance on the material and the topics that we're studying in this past week 4 and this current week 5 of your learning. Guys, if there's anything else you need, please always reach out, call me, text me, or email me. When we Zoom, you're more than welcome to ask any questions at that point. But as you finish your work and you're completed and you want to check it, just make sure to send it by email, take a photo of it, send it by text, or if you want to call it and just say them verbally, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So just want to make sure that there's anything else you please need or unsure, just always know that you can call and ask, and I will help you as soon as I can once I get to your question and give you the best answer. It's going to help you get to mastery. All right, so that's it for week 5. Anything you need or not, just always feel free to let me know. And you guys have a great day and a great week, and I'll look for your submissions by Friday and look forward to seeing all the great work and all the appliance you have for the science you need to get a good grade this week for week 5 of At Home Learning. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great day.